Cosmic Outlaw. The Legend of Roan Hale. In a galaxy ruled by unbreakable codes and cold machines, one man discovered the most dangerous algorithm of all, Defiance. Part 12. Ashes and Defiance. The Veylari Consortium had come to Verdun Prime 40 years earlier, cloaked in promises of progress. Tall, elongated beings with slate-gray skin and eyes like voids, they arrived aboard sleek vessels that blotted out the sun, were offering advanced technology in exchange for resource rights. Your man is still fractured after the diaspora wars welcomed them eagerly. Quantum stabilizers, orbital agriculture, medical miracles. In return, the Veylari took mining leases, agricultural ties, and quiet control of planetary governance through shell corporations and pliable officials. But the contract's fine print was written in blood. The Veylari viewed humans as useful primitives, emotional, short-lived. Driven by greed and fear qualities easily manipulated, they installed proxies like Sheriff Kane, rewarding obedience with luxury, punishing failure with surgical terror. Resistance was rare. When it surfaced, the consortium responded with calculated annihilation. Villages accidentally bombarded. Leaders vanished, records altered, humanity bent, adapted, survived, but never broke. That stubborn resilience, the refusal to bow even when outmatched, was something the Veylari had never quite understood. They called it inefficient. Humans called it being human. Mira awoke to pain and cold. Her head throbbed where the blow had landed, wrists bound behind her with restraint cords that bit into skin. She lay on chilled Durasteel flooring in a dimly lit chamber deep beneath Aspirekane's private interrogation suite, reserved for those he wished to break slowly. The air carried the acrid tang of ozone and fierce sweat. Across from her stood a Veylari overseer, Lord-Executor Vhal'tyr, tall and skeletal in flowing black robes, holding a scrap of parchment between two elongated fingers as though it were diseased. Mira's heart leapt. She recognized her own elegant script on the coded note intended for Lord Thorn patrol schedules. Vault weaknesses. Betrayal. Kneeling beside Vhal'tyr, face pale but unmarked, was Kane himself. His opulent uniform was rumpled, eyes bloodshot, hands trembling slightly despite untouched skin. The Veylari did not need physical violence on their proxies. Subtle neural inducers could reduce a man to terror without leaving a bruised reputation intact. Lesson delivered. On a side table lay a small whole image. The body of the younger Dario, throat neatly severed, eyes staring blankly. The dancer who had fled the raid in panic had been tracked, cornered, and silenced. Simpler to delete a potential traitor than pay his demanded hush fee or risk him selling information back to the merry men. Vhal'tyr's voice resonated directly in her skull, code harmonics bypassing ears. Lady Eldritch, your correspondence is illuminating. Your estate and 3 frontier settlements have been pacified as a demonstration of consequence. Survivors flee toward the Expanse. We will follow. Mira's breath caught like a blade in her chest. Images flooded her mind unbidden. The manor in flames, umber and gold against the night. Vineyards her family had tended for generations reduced to smoking rows. Cottages collapsing as orbital lances struck with surgical precision. People she had sworn to protect, children, elders, Harlan running terrified into the forest. Tears burned hot in her eyes, but she blinked them back, lifting her chin with the same defiance that had carried her through years of debt and threat. You will never hold this world, she said, voice steady despite the tremor in her soul. Humans endure. We adapt. We fight back in ways your calculations can't predict. Vhal'tyr tilted its head, almost curious. Kane flinched at her words, sweat beading anew. Outside, in the burning valleys, that endurance was already proving itself. Survivors streamed into the Expanse, widows carrying children, vineyard workers with soot-streaked faces, old Harlan limping but refusing help. Behind them, stealth drones ghosted through treetops, sleek Veylari scout units, cloaked in shimmer fields, tracking the refugees toward Roan's camp for a final cleansing strike. They never reached it. The merry men had grown wary. Will Scarlet spotted the first shimmer anomaly, an unnatural ripple in moonlight. Word spread like wildfire. Roan ordered evacuation drills turned real. Non-combatants deeper into ancient groves, fighters to ambush points. When the drones descended, humanity answered. Little John and Storm met the lead. Scout had on no bows this time. They had salvaged energy rifles from fallen Syndicate elites in earlier raids, buried under cloaking blankets to hide power signatures. Now unearthed, the rifles hummed alive in calloused human hands. The battle was vicious, visceral, gloriously unequal. Veylari drones were faster, armored, armed with plasma casters that carved glowing scars through tree trunks. But humans fought dirty centuries of guerrilla instinct honed against worse odds. Kit hurled improvised flash charges that overloaded shimmer fields, revealing targets in strobing white. Lyra and remaining Dario flipped through underbrush like phantoms. Slicing sensor arrays with monoblades, Tuck roared battlefield prayers while swinging his staff like a mace, cracking drone plating. Roan moved like vengeance incarnate, rifle shot precise, arrows falling to exploit breaches. One drone speared a tree beside him, superheated sap exploding in steam. He rolled, came up firing. Core shot blooming blue fire as the machine crashed. Another drone targeted a fleeing family. Little John charged bodily, taking a grazing blast that seared flesh but not spirit, then jamming his rifle muzzle into a joint and pulling the trigger until the thing shuddered and died. They lost ground, took wounds, bled, but they held. 5 drones entered the expanse, none left. Afterward, panting amid smoking wreckage, the merry men collected the fallen rifles like hated symbols of alien dominance and buried them deeper under new cloaking blankets, woven with salvage tech for later. For the day, humans turned the Consortium's own weapons against them. Back at camp, refugees poured in, soot-blackened, weeping, but alive. Roan organized aid with quiet efficiency, face grim. He had been thinking of Mira all day, anticipating the midnight rendezvous, imagining her cloaked figure emerging from shadows, emerald eyes bright with shared purpose, her hand finally in his again without towers or years between them. Then the first survivors arrived with the news: estates burning, settlements glassed, Lady Mira gone, seized or dead. No one knew. Roan stood motionless amid the chaos, storm-gray eyes fixed on distant smoke rising above treetops. Something inside him, hope, joy, the fragile dream of reunion, hardened into something colder, sharper, unbreakable. The Veylari had miscalculated. They thought fear would cow humans into submission. They had only taught humanity what it truly meant to fight. The reckoning was no longer coming. It had begun.